Have you ever had a character whose design you really liked, but you just never ended up drawing them again? Well, recently I found one old character in my sketchbook, and I really liked the idea of her, but I guess I just never ended up finishing her design. So the character we'll be looking at today was, I was looking through one of my old sketchbooks, and I saw this little dragon girl. And I guess my original idea was to draw a little character that looked like a combination of a dragon and a cat, and I don't even know. It was supposed to have like a sort of stuffed animal vibe. And I came up with this one character. I'll put a picture up here. I recently had gotten a brush pen and I went a little crazy with it, and yeah, I did the line art really thick. And I really like this character, but obviously something about the design wasn't quite flowing right, so I figured I'd give her a little redesign and breathe some new life back into her. So I tried a few different things for the horns, and just for the character in general. This first sketch here, you can tell that I strayed away from the design a little bit. I was kind of just testing to see if there was anything else I liked different. I really liked the little heart on her cheek. That was really a favorite, and I think the little choker was new with a little heart on it. I kept the hoodie in her design, and also changed the hair a little bit, but I ended up not really liking this design because one character design tip I can give is that this was a very angular design. In her original design, she was more in tune with squares or maybe circles, because obviously a rounder or more square look to a character can make them feel softer or just more gentle or innocent, whereas more angular feel can age a character a bit, and that wasn't really the look I was going for. So I started over, and this time I tried to stick a little closer to her original design. You'll see that I tried to make her look a little bit younger, which I think actually worked well, made the eyes a little bigger and less pointy, made the pupils really big, and just tried to make sure that she was just sort of younger looking, I guess. Because I guess she's not really supposed to be like a little kid, but I just didn't want her to feel too much like a total adult or something. Because her original design had a really like fun look to it, and I wanted to keep that intact. So I tried to change up the ears a little. I think the original ears were, I guess I was still leaning more towards dragons, so I kind of elongated them a bit and made them look a bit more like a cat. Still going with the hoodie, I didn't really want to change that because I felt like that added a really soft look to her. You'll also see that I changed the horns in the design because I did like the original design, but I don't think it quite matched her personality, so I decided to go with these little antlers. And you'll see that later on, this actually works out perfectly because I end up drawing a little dragon friend for her, and that way they can have matching horns. I also made the hair a little closer to the original design, and actually liked a really simple shape to it. I found that getting too complex with the hair just kind of messed with the design somehow. So I actually ended up doing this one sketch of her standing and really liked it, but as you'll see here, I was actually really sad to find out that I wasn't recording when I drew this. So I really liked this sketch, and then it was even worse because when I filmed drawing her clothes, because I usually like to get the base sketch underneath, but when I drew her clothes on top, I found out that the camera wasn't recording again. So I didn't really capture any of that. So see, I wasn't able to get any of the footage of me drawing her clothes, but luckily you'll be able to see me doing that when I do the final illustration. I did a little side view of her, which was actually ended up being great because in the illustration I did of her, I did a side view, and this wasn't perfect. I think I did age her a bit again here. I made her chin too pointy and maybe her jaw a little bit too defined, but it still ended up being a useful reference for when I was doing the watercolor. So that's about it for the character design sketches. I did actually end up doing a little drawing of her with alcohol markers, but I just didn't really like how that looked, so I started again with watercolor. Here I got some watercolor paper and started my sketch. I actually got 2 sheets of paper. I did a very small sketch, you'll see there. Just kind of getting an idea for the illustration. I decided to have her and a little dragon out walking in the rain with some umbrellas. And you'll see I'm doing a larger sketch here, mostly trying to get things laid out on the paper. What I mostly wanted with the smaller one is so I could swatch colors later, which I really suggest. Swatching colors on the same paper that you're going to be using them on, because different papers can have different effects on colors. Here I did something kind of funny. I used a ruler and I made these little guidelines and kind of made a box. And basically just since I thought she was going to be in a pretty stiff position, this was on purpose because I really wanted to make it look like she was sort of marching happily in the rain. Again, trying to stay with the little kiddish vibe. Since she was going to be in a pretty stiff position, I could try and make her a little more proportional by actually drawing these little boxes and making her about 6 heads tall. And here's where I actually started doing the details. I saved the dragon for last, but I ended up drawing in an umbrella, and I made her hair a lot longer, which I think was kind of a fun addition. Here I'm starting to draw the little dragon. I wanted to make him really just, since she was supposed to have a stuffed animal vibe, I really wanted to like hint at that, I guess. I really wanted to just add more elements of that, and I thought this little dragon was the perfect idea. Here I started the line art. These are where the Sakura microliner pens come in actually really handy because they do not bleed with watercolor at all. Here I got all my supplies together and started the watercolor process. You'll see this weird little plastic thing with a blue cap. It came in a funny little watercolor set I got once. It's just a little dropper you can use to get a little water on your palette. Here I'm doing the swatches for the illustration, making sure all the colors are right, and finalizing all the color decisions. Here I did her skin tone. I'm not sure that's exactly the skin tone I was going for, but it worked, so I'm happy with it. Here I'm coloring in her hair, and my color theory was actually correct for once, and I ended up with the perfect color of hair. I added a little shadow to her hair where the umbrella would be. Now coloring in all her clothes, trying to keep it all looking very simple and sort of neutral, but also just having a really pastel, fun vibe. I painted in the sky, and I wanted to have like little silhouettes of clouds in there. But I also wanted to keep it very loose looking. I didn't want to get too detailed with anything. Here I put a little bit of ground beneath the dragon's feet just so he can have something to stand on. I did the same thing with the girl. Here I filled in the umbrella, but to give it a shiny quality, I left a little rim of white on the edge. And here it is, the final illustration. I'm not sure I like exactly how it turned out. I probably should have looked a little closer at the positions he was standing in. Honestly, I think the little dragon makes up for everything. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great evening.